to completely blow your mind when it comes to sectioning for balayage. This super simple strategy is gonna make balayage so much easier for you. No more worrying if you didn't put enough or did I just over highlight my client's hair completely. I'm gonna break it down for you in really simple terms in ways that you can do it on anyone's head, no matter fine hair, thick hair, blonde hair, dark hair. It's gonna work for everyone. So let's get to it. Hey, I'm Dawn Bradley, and I'm about to take the stress out of your balayage sectioning starting now. And if that sounds like good to you, make sure you click that like button down there, and while you're at it, hit the subscribe and the bell, because you betcha I'm coming at you with new videos each and every week, and you do not want to miss them. Before I get right into it, I want to share with you a couple DMs I've gotten from people that have used my techniques. So here is Gina Marie Cosmetology. She said, "This is one of the best classes I've ever taken." Oh, Gina, thank you. And Kylie Lesson says, "Thank you for the education. You actually take your time and explain things. Most videos are so rushed that I have to keep pausing to make sure I can write things down, and I didn't have to do that at all." Oh, that's like the best. And then Risa, it says, "I've been a stylist in the workplace for 35 years, and what I've gained the most out of this class was the placement of color and how you applied the color to fall in line with the next section." That is gonna be you soon. Let's get to it. So step one is you wanna make sure that you're going with the natural growth of the hair. And this is where you part it normally?
I always part this side. I don't always part the exact same, but it's always
like
this
around
side.
this area?
Yeah.
Okay. Hair is three-dimensional. It doesn't just lay, we're not in the 80s anymore, guys. It doesn't just lay one way. We like soft, movable, touchable hair. So the number one thing I wanna make sure you know is that you wanna ask your client, where's your natural parting? Which way does your hair naturally fall, or which way do you like to wear it the most? Because let me tell you, I have done hair before where they've come in with a part and I've just assumed, this is a big no-no, that this is where they part their hair. And I've done these beautiful highlights only to find out at the end that, oh, I actually part my hair on this side. And we flip it over and they're all disappear. It's different, it doesn't look the same because I put the placement in for a certain part. So number one thing you wanna ask before you start sectioning is, where do you part your hair? What part do you like to wear most? Where do you want it to look the brightest? That's gonna help you a ton, because I'm not here, shocker, to tell you exactly what to do. It's based to everybody's head of hair. Everyone's head of hair is a little bit different. That's why I'm showing you a proven strategy for sectioning rather than a grid of exactly how to do it, because no two heads of hair are the same. Everyone has different kinks, swirls, twirls, cowlicks, and we're gonna work with them, and that's the number one thing. So not only where their part is, but when you get to the crown of the head, you know that funny little swirl that we've got that gives us weird partings? You wanna actually check to see the way the hair lies. And you can see in this video right here that I'm looking at the hair to make sure where's it gonna fall, because there's no use pulling the hair in opposite direction it's gonna go to put a highlight on, only for it to spring over a different direction. So make sure you are basing all your sectioning off of the natural partings and curves and cowlicks of their hair. Secondly, less is more. I can't tell you how much of an over highlighter I used to be, and I think you are too. You know, you panic, you think they're paying you good money. You know, when I was early on in my career, I thought, oh my goodness, they're giving me this money, I need to give them as many highlights as possible, forgetting about the end result that they want. Now with Tess, my model here, she's got brown, she's a brunette, she's got brown hair. And so I wanna make sure to keep her a brunette, so I use percentages. Now if I wanna keep her a brunette, she has to be at least 50% left out color, that's hair that's not colored, at least 50% of her hair not colored or greater, if you want to maintain the color that they are. Or if you want to take someone, you know, from dark to blonde, you need to make sure that they're over 50%. So you want to make sure the percentage, but less is more with this sectioning. And if you are short for time and you need to give someone good bang for their buck, good nice pop, make sure you have hair left out. Make sure you're not over highlighting. Think of this as if I wanted a bright piece right here, if everything's light, it doesn't really pop. The only way to get color to pop is to have dark behind it. And the only way to have dark behind it is if you leave negative space. So break that habit of over highlighting, knowing that it's not about how many highlights you give someone that makes it worth it, it's the end result achieved. And lots of times you need less. All right, third is when you're starting, start at the nape. Please. Not only does this make this the best experience for your client, because with balayage, You're laying sections over and you can't move them. And when you get to the front, you want to keep it off their face. The reason why I know this is because I have definitely highlighted someone's eyebrow before by accident. And it wasn't the greatest experience. You want to make sure that it's off their face so your clients can sit there and enjoy their appointment. They don't have hair and pieces. So if you start in the nape, you can work your way forward, laying pieces back. But also another reason why you start at the nape is although clay lightener is a lot safer most of the time, I have had a client had a heat reaction. And thankfully, it was within the first 10 to 15 minutes of applying lightener to her hair. Now, because it was at the nape, it's a lot easier to work through or have damaged hair back here. I had nightmares for weeks after that happened of what if I would have started right here? What if the hair would have broken off in the front? So I like to use the rule of starting at the nape, not only to give the pleasant experience of having all the hair off the face in the end, but also to protect yourself from those heat reactions that we can't always predict. Now, if you're wanting to know more about how to navigate through those situations and those conversations, I want you to check out my program, Rock Your Consultation, which the link will be in the description below, because that's going to help eliminate those sticky situations with clients. Next, you want to take triangle-inspired sections. Now, you're maybe thinking, Dawn, what the heck, inspired sections? Yes, because it's not one size fits all. I'm not here to give you an exact grid because everyone's hair is different. Everyone's hair has a different density, has a different pattern of curls and texture. So triangle-inspired sections, this is how this is going to work. Is if you're taking slices with foils, whether they are vertical or horizontal, they're going to either look really chunky, really stripy, or they're going to blend and be diffused. Now, if you take a triangle shape, back when we used to do a lot of color blocking, you would see that pop. And because we're creating blend because of balayage, we're creating that blend on the strand of hair, the pop is just going to end up in the ends. And with a triangle shaped section, you're going to end up with like a nice ribbon effect on the ends, and it's going to give pop rather than have the hair accidentally diffuse if it was horizontal, diffuse and not really see it, or look stripy. The thicker the piece, the better, because then you get that pop of color. I always like to use the example of salt and pepper. If you have equal parts salt and pepper in two different things, it looks really white, the salt, and the pepper really dark. But if you were to mix them together in equal parts and shake it up, it kind of looks like this mucky in-between color. And that's what can happen if you don't have enough density of color. And so if you think the salt and pepper thing, if you could take sugar cubes instead of the salt, and it was still equal parts sugar cubes to equal parts pepper, and you mix them together, you're gonna see those sugar cubes pop so much more because of the density of it. So triangle-inspired sections are gonna make a huge difference in making your balayage pop, along with all the other steps, like making sure you don't over-highlight and making sure you start at the nape. All of these things tied in together work so well and are gonna give you the most beautiful balayage. Just wait until you see Tessa's hair at the end. All right, step number 5, which might just be the most important because it's what links all the other steps together, is when taking your sections, you've taken a triangle-inspired section, you wanna make sure your next section comes in perpendicular to that parting. And you kind of work in on a bricklay pattern so that the hair doesn't stack on top of itself, so that the highlights don't stack on top of the previous highlight to make it lost. What you want to do is be bricklaying, so if you have a section here and there's a highlight and you come in perpendicular, you can have a highlight here. And then your next section, you have a highlight in between, and you're always placing your highlights between the previous two, creating a bricklaying pattern. And this looks good when you get to the front and you can take a section here, here, and here, just from the ear up. You don't need to over highlight. It gives you really clear direction on where you should be going, where you should be highlighting, always intersecting. It also helps keep that nice rooted look. So think of triangle-inspired sections that are always on an angle, not completely vertical, not completely horizontal, but at a diagonal. And then you come in perpendicular and take your next section, making sure you leave out more hair than you highlight, taking a triangle-inspired section, and making sure that this all blends together to give you the most beautiful balayage that was really simple, easy to section, and very quick to get done. All right, does this scare you or excite you a little bit? I'm so curious because I know my technical friends, this scares them a little bit. It feels a little bit out there in left field, a little bit open to interpretation. My really creative, artistic friends, they're like, yes, someone is finally giving me permission to just go and be free and have a little bit of structure with not too rigid of rules. So I'm curious, which one are you? Are you more a technical or creative person? Are you excited or a little bit nervous about trying this? Leave me a comment below. I can't wait to hear from you. And while you're here, why don't you check out these videos? I think you're really gonna like them.